So thank you so much for agreeing to this.
That's all
Could
right.
you tell me a bit about your journey as a carer?
So my journey started in 2009 when my partner, who I'd only known for about nearly 2 years, ended up having two strokes, literally one after the other.
Gosh.
Uh, and I also, because I don't come from the UK, because things are differently in Australia, the way we do everything. So he was taken to the local hospital where we then lived. And I didn't realise that I could have asked for to be taken somewhere else, if that makes sense. So yeah, when we got there, there was a delay in bringing him to the hospital because he was on a football field playing football. He used to play twice a week, and the people there, instead of calling an ambulance, decided to take him to his brother's house. And then the one brother was going to take him to the other brother's house. And then they took him to my place because that's what he was asking about me. So there was all this delay in getting getting him to hospital. As soon as I saw him, even though I didn't know what had happened to him, I just called the ambulance. So there was that delay. So yeah, so they had two strokes literally in May, one after the other. And then 6 months later, he had another stroke. So he's had three massive strokes. He's lost his speech, so it's called aphasia. He can communicate to a certain degree with certain words. Most of it's hand gesture. A lot of he's very frustrated because he's trying to tell us something and he can't get the word out. For some reason, even though I didn't know him for that long, I seem to know him better than anybody else, including his family and his kids. As a result of his strokes, he's now got epilepsy. So last week he ended up in hospital 2 days before we were supposed to move with multiple seizures. So that's roughly what has happened to my partner. So then all of a sudden I became a carer, an unpaid carer. And whilst we were living in Woking, we were on a list for him to see like a speech and language therapist, and this list was just not getting anywhere. So I did a bit of research myself, and I went to America because America seemed to have had a lot of stuff on aphasia. So I got like learning aids myself, which I paid for.
Right.
And started teaching him myself. So I then got, kind of baby book, and I started teaching him the alphabet, things like that. So I did that myself. Once we moved to Guildford, it was like night and day. It was like everything was just so much different. So we had speech and language therapy. The council was able to help. And so he goes to Discover once a week. It is hard.
Yeah.
It's a very hard job because I also work.
What does a day to day look like in your life?
So my day to day is that I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to work. I work 4 days a week now because I just can't work full time. But bearing in mind, I do a second job where I work at the hospital, and I'm asking for a few more hours to increase because obviously the cost of living and the fact that this house now is costing us like, £600 more than what we were paying is just, each. That's a lot. Plus, other things that go on, as you know. One stage we were about to become homeless and nobody wanted to help us. It's been really, really tough. Really, really tough.
How important do you feel Carers' Rights Day is for raising awareness of the needs and rights for carers?
Oh, it is very important to raise awareness because we need to be heard. And we also,
Yeah.
I don't think the government realises how much money we save for them, in regards to all the money that they don't have to pay us.
And what impact do you hope that the Carers Day will have on local support for carers?
I think there's so many people don't even know their rights. Many people don't know what's going on. Many people don't know anything because nobody's forthcoming. For instance, when I moved from Woking to Guildford, now Parlo had been at this surgery since he was a little boy, and yet no stage during this whole thing of him having his strokes did the surgery say to me, "Oh, by the way, we can provide you," because Parlo's on 35 medication a day. We would have to dish out those pills one by one, have to take them out, make sure that they're out, because there would be no way that he would understand how to do that. And at no stage did they say to me, "Oh, by the way, we can offer you a blister pack." Whereas we came to Guildford, and the first thing the doctor said to me was, "Haven't you got that organised?" And I said, "No." And he'd only just seen us for two times, and then he organised that for me. And there was other things like carers for actions, all these other things that nobody knows about. And I think it's so important that there is some signposts for people to go to, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much for your time and all of this. It's been really insightful and helpful.